Winding its way through most of Indiana, the Wabash River courses for 510 miles on its journey to the Ohio River. Created by the receding glaciers that form the mighty Great Lakes and shaped by ancient earthquakes, the river and its lacework of scenic tributaries drain more than 33,000 square miles of prime heartland, nearly 2/3 of the state.
Native Americans called it Wapashiki, the sparkling white river. Rich in natural resources, the Wabash River was a ready source of food, transportation, and commerce. Native American tribes, French explorers and trappers, American settlers and farmers all left a rich legacy of history attached to its waters. That's why you see significant historical sites like Fort Ouiatenon, a French fur trading post, Prophetstown, a last rallying point for woodland tribes, and old boat locks from America's longest canal system scattered along the river. The course of the Wabash determined where people would settle and if they would survive. As a matter of fact, most of us in Tippecanoe County would probably not be living here today if it were not for the mighty Wabash River.
Towns like Lafayette were settled up and down the river, close to its banks because the river was useful. But over time, as more and more people settled on its banks, the river became too useful.
Up until the early 1900s, the Wabash River's scenic beauty, clear, pristine waters, and abundant fishing attracted mankind and wildlife as well. But the 1920s was a turning point. Poor farming techniques stripped the soil, and expanding cities and industries were looking for ways that they could handle their increasing production of waste. As the saying went, the solution to pollution is dilution. All through the Midwest, raw sewage and industrial waste were discharged directly into our rivers and lakes. Fish died, wildlife disappeared. Rivers like Cleveland's Cuyahoga were catching fire. Lakes like Erie were declared dying and dangerous, and people were staying away from the water.
The situation was so bad that Congress was pressed for a solution. Finally, in 1972, the Clean Water Act was passed. Things began to change for our rivers and lakes.
By that time, water quality in the Wabash watershed was at an all-time low. It wasn't healthy for fish, animals, or people. But 1972 was a pivotal year for our rivers. The evidence of returning fish and wildlife is a dramatic indicator that our rivers are getting healthier. There's still room for improvement, but we're seeing positive efforts on many fronts. Our cities are upgrading their wastewater treatment plants, and programs like the U.S. Department of Agriculture's Conservation Reserve Program provide financial incentives to farmers for planting buffer strips of trees or grass along the streams. These buffer strips prevent soil erosion and intercept contaminants before they reach the stream. Efforts like these will dramatically improve the clarity and health of our rivers.
Improved water quality brings more than wildlife and fish back to the Wabash. It also draws people. As a result, recreational opportunities along the Wabash are growing. Avid outdoorsman and canoeist Chuck Wise has paddled his canoe along much of the Wabash.
You know, it's really relaxing out here. One of the great things about the Wabash is that you can keep a canoe on top of the car, come down here at lunch hour or Anytime you've got a little free time, put the boat in, paddle upstream, and float back, and you're completely away from your workaday world. You're out with nature, the eagles are back, the beavers are back. Another great thing about the Wabash, too, all of it, it's varied. Up near the northeast corner of the state, a small river. Down lower as it goes toward the Ohio, great bends with sandbars. A really nice place to, again, get away from your everyday routine.
As people's interest in the river began to return, so did the community's businesses and local governments. In 1988, community and government leaders representing Lafayette, West Lafayette, and Tippecanoe County joined together to establish the Wabash River Parkway Commission. The commission, acting as the official agency of the interlocal governments and agencies, was charged with providing a forum for citizens to voice opinions and concerns about the river, providing a point of contact for information about the river, creating a master plan to achieve common goals of both development and protection of the river, coordinating efforts of individuals and groups with an interest in riverfront development, and assisting appropriate projects in obtaining support. An aerial view of the Wabash River as it runs through the county illustrates a number of important historical, recreational, and cultural sites situated along the Wabash. On the north end are the Tippecanoe Battlefield, the new state park and its associated museums at Prophetstown. Further downriver are Lafayette's golf course and assorted recreational parks. Greeley Plaza in downtown Lafayette provides a site for cultural gatherings and celebrations. Across the pedestrian bridge is the site of the new River Landings project. And then at the far end is Fort Hueyotnon. Mixed in with these are a number of public access sites scattered up and down the corridor. These provide an entrance to the river itself. What became apparent to the Commission was a number of significant sites, jewels, if you will, scattered along the riverbank. But if the community could link them together, we would now have a string of pearls, and the linkage could provide not only access between sites, but recreational opportunities as well. The linkage, or the string between the pearls, became the Wabash Heritage Trail. Along this 13-mile trail, shaded by cottonwoods, sycamores, and oaks, you can find something for just about anyone. Cultural events, historical sites, hiking and biking, fishing and boating, golfing, radio-controlled flying, wildlife and bird watching. And many of these activities are year-round. In fact, many people prefer the special solitude and beauty found by the river only in winter. But regardless of the season, the river developments offer moments of quality to our sometimes busy lives.
A well-developed Wabash River corridor is a big plus for the greater Lafayette area. In addition to visiting the local historical sites, many of our employees at Caterpillar enjoy outdoor activities such as hiking, biking, boating, and fishing. Companies like Cat are attracted to communities with these sorts of developments. The Wabash corridor is just one of the things that make our area so inviting to companies looking for a new home. And the reason's simple, because it adds to the quality of our lives.
The bald eagle has returned, So has the great blue heron, the Canada goose, the beaver, and 96 species of fish. They've all come back because the river has come back. Won't you? Please support the efforts of the Wabash River Parkway Commission. Get informed. Get involved. It's your life. It's your river.
Well, families need a place to have a sense of their existence and why they live in a city, why they live in a community. They want to live where they can get together with their family, with their friends, with the community activities, and certainly that's what Greenway Parks do here in Indiana.
It's good for economic development, for downtown revitalization, for tourism, for recreation. There's festivals that draw as many as 500,000 people a year to this park, to this green space, this place where you can come and renew yourself.
And as I look at other towns and cities that have prospered, one of the things that they've done consistently is develop the riverfront area where they've had that opportunity. And wherever that development has taken place, it's encouraged people to move into the area, it's revitalized the downtown areas, and it's really made the community more viable for visitors and longer-term people to live.
We have 7 miles of trails here in Delphi, and this extent is exceeding most any other small town's endeavors to build a trail system.
Wabash is now a place where you want to bring your children and your grandchildren and enjoy the canoeing on the river, or stop at one of the canal attractions or historical museums, and just a great place to bring your family.